Okay, so we hear the word sustainability thrown around all the time, right? But what if the way we think about it is, well, a little off? I mean, it's so much more than just recycling your plastic bottles or, saving the planet. It's actually a fundamental promise, a promise we're making to the future. So today, let's break that down. Let's really get into what that promise is all about.
This proverb, it just perfectly captures the heart of sustainability. It completely reframes how we should see our relationship with the planet. We're not owners, we're caretakers, we're stewards. And that idea, that feeling of profound responsibility, that's the foundation for everything we're about to dig into.
So let's get right to it. What is sustainability really? At its core? Well, it really is a promise. It's a promise that we can live our lives and meet our needs today without wrecking the chances for future generations to meet their own. I love how some of the source material describes it. It's like a delicate dance. It's about learning to coexist with the earth, not just living on it. Big difference.
Okay, so we have the what. But what about the why? Why is everyone talking about this right now? Why the sudden urgency? Well, this whole conversation has become so critical because it's not just some abstract idea. It is a direct response to some very, very real global challenges that are all tangled up together.
And here they are, the big three. You've got climate change, which is throwing our weather patterns completely out of whack. You've got biodiversity loss, which is like pulling threads from the fabric of our ecosystems, making them weaker. And then there's resource depletion. We're literally running out of the stuff we need to build our world. And the key thing to remember is that these are not separate problems. No way! They are all deeply connected, and you can't solve one without thinking about the others. They need a single, unified game plan.
And if you want to see the proof, well, the data tells a pretty stark story. I mean, look at this. This is based on findings from places like NOAA, and it's clear the warming trend isn't just a slow, steady climb. It's accelerating. Just look at that sharp spike in recent decades. That's not a simulation. That's the real, tangible evidence of our climate crisis. So the big question is, what's actually causing this?
Well, it all starts with something called the greenhouse effect. Now, this is actually a good thing. It's basically a natural blanket of gases in our atmosphere that traps heat and keeps our planet warm enough for us to live on. Seriously, without it, Earth would just be a frozen rock in space. So it's a totally natural and absolutely vital process.
Okay, but, and this is a big but, here's where we've messed with that natural balance. Our activities, mostly burning fossil fuels like coal, oil, and gas, have pumped just enormous amounts of extra greenhouse gases into the air. So what we've done in effect is we've made that natural blanket way too thick. And now it's trapping too much heat. And that is what's driving the global warming we just saw on that chart.
All right, so understanding the problem is obviously step one. But what does the solution actually look like? What are we supposed to do? Well, sustainability isn't just some vague environmental idea. It's actually a really clear framework, and it's built on three core pillars that are all connected.
This right here. This is the classic go-to definition from a really important document called the Brundtland Report back in 1987. It's pretty much the foundation for how we think about sustainability today. And the key phrase, the part you really got to remember, is without compromising the ability of future generations. It's all about fairness. Fairness between us right now and the people who haven't even been born yet. It's about fairness across time.
Now, that's a pretty big idea, right? So to make it easier to grasp, we break it down into those three core pillars I mentioned. And the most important thing to get here is that they are all interconnected. You can't just focus on one and ignore the others. True sustainability is like a three-legged stool. If one leg is weak, the whole thing falls over.
So, first up, pillar number 1, environmental. This is the one that probably pops into your head first, right? It's all about protecting our planet's basic life support systems. We're talking clean air, clean water, healthy forests and oceans, and a stable climate. You can think of this as the foundation. Without it, nothing else we build can last.
Okay, so building right on top of that foundation is the second pillar, social. Because here's the thing, a sustainable world has to be a just and fair one. It has to ensure that everyone, and I mean everyone, has a good quality of life, feels included, and is treated equitably. This is so important, because when you look at who gets hit hardest by environmental damage, it's almost always the most vulnerable communities.
And that brings us to our third and final pillar, economic. Because let's be real, for any of this to work in the long run, it also has to make sense economically. But, and this is crucial, this doesn't mean profit at any cost. Absolutely not.
It means building a strong, resilient economy that pays people fairly, that doesn't waste resources, and that's built for long-term stability, not just quick, short-term profits.
Okay, so we've got our three pillars: environmental, social, and economic. The big question now is, how do we actually do this? How do we put it all into action? And the answer isn't just about making a few small tweaks here and there. Nope. It demands a complete redesign of some of our most basic systems, and a great place to start is with the economy itself.
This slide right here does a great job of showing just how massive that shift in thinking needs to be. See, for ages, our economy has been linear. It's a straight line. We take resources from the earth, we make stuff, and then we just throw it away. It's a one-way street, and the final stop is a landfill or an incinerator. The alternative, the sustainable way, is a circular economy. Think of it like a circle, a closed loop, where things are designed from the very beginning to be reused, repaired, and regenerated, not thrown away.
Now, a lot of people hear circular economy and think, oh, that just means more recycling. But it's so much bigger than that. It's a complete redesign of the whole system. The first step, you design waste and pollution out of the picture from day one, before the product is even made. Next, you focus on keeping products and all the materials in them in use for as long as humanly possible. We're talking repairing things, reusing them, remanufacturing them. And the final amazing step is that it doesn't just try to do less harm to nature, it actually tries to regenerate it, to actively make our natural systems healthier.
Okay, we've covered a lot. We've talked about the why, the urgency, we've talked about the what, the three pillars, and we've talked about the how, the circular economy. So that brings us to the path forward. And yeah, these are huge, systemic ideas, but they're not impossible. They're built on a foundation of all of us working together, from massive international agreements all the way down to the choices you and I make every day.
So if you're going to walk away from this with just a few key takeaways, let's boil it all down to three main things. First, the urgency is real. It's not an opinion. It's driven by hard data on things like climate change. Second, the definition of sustainability is holistic. It's a balancing act between the environment, society, and the economy. You need all three. And third, the solution has to be systemic. And the idea of a circular economy gives us a really powerful, practical roadmap for making that change happen.
At the end of the day, this whole shift to a sustainable world, it's not a story that's already been written. It's a story that we are all writing, right now, together, with the choices we make every single day. Look, the challenges are huge. Nobody's denying that. But you know what? So are the opportunities. The opportunities for new ideas, for working together, and for creating some real positive change. So the question this really leaves us with is a personal one. What's your chapter in this story going to be?